Hi group, today we are going to talk about the physical and social effects of addiction and drugs, not just on yourselves but on your family members, your significant others, and this doesn't just mean your immediate family, but it could be extended family, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, grandparents, wives, husbands, whoever is friends, whoever is significant to you in your family. Most of you have probably experienced these type of effects. That's probably why you're choose to do treatment. So I'm going to start off by introducing myself. My name is Katie Fox, and I am a new substance abuse disorder professional. And I'm going to start by going over what addiction is. Addiction is continuing to use a substance such as alcohol or other drugs despite the harmful effects like DUIs, loss of jobs, harm to relationships. If you have any questions, I can answer them at the end. So first, I want to explain the effects of substances on the brain. There are three main parts that are affected: the brainstem, which is in charge of bodily functions such as breathing, moving blood, and digesting our food. Then there is the limbic system, which links together our different brain structures, like the left and right side, that control our emotions. And there's also
is that done?
There's also our cerebral cortex, and this makes up 3/4 of our entire brain. It is made up into 4 lobes. Each controls a specific function. This is what
Is it on the brain?
This is what allows us to make decisions and use our senses, which we all know what those are.
Oh shit! Did you hear that?
And it allows us to make decisions, plan, problem solve, and think. And this becomes more developed the older we get. We all know that just teenagers are not best at decision making. There are 2 main ways that drugs work on the brain. One is imitating our natural neurotransmitters such as dopamine, serotonin. The other way is to overstimulate the brain's natural reward circuit, which would be like flooding our brain with dopamine, and then the brain can't reuptake those chemicals, and so that is where the high comes from. Some drugs have neurotransmitters that mimic our own, but they don't work the same way. Each drug has different effects on the body, both physical and psychological. For example, alcohol, the short-term effects are distorted vision, hearing, and coordination, impaired judgment, or altered precipitations and emotions, hangovers. And the longer-term effects are loss of appetite, vitamin deficiencies, stomach ailments, liver damage, skin problems, sexual impotence, heart and central nervous damage, and memory loss. And then for methamphetamines, the short-term effects are euphoria, increased heart rate, increased wakefulness, and then insomnia, not being able to sleep, increased physical activity from not being able to sleep. There's more hyperactivity, decreased appetite. So it lowers your appetite. You don't really want to eat. There's respiratory problems, hypothermia, convulsions, and cardiovascular problems, and that can lead to death. They can have irritability, confusion, tremors, anxiety, ammonia, or violent behavior, and it can cause irreversible damage to the blood vessels in the brain, and that can lead to strokes. And then if you are using it in IV form, you are at increased risk for HIV. Cocaine can have effects such as increased blood pressure, heart rate, breathing rate, and body temperature, heart attacks, strokes, and respiratory failure. And if you are doing cocaine through needles, you are at increased risk of HIV and hepatitis.
I'm coming.
You can also have brain seizures and reduction of the body's ability to resist and fight infections. And then the psychological effects are violent, erratic, and paranoid behavior, hallucinations, and a sensation of insects or bugs crawling over your skin. And I think that's also an effect of meth too. And then there's confusion, anxiety, and depression, loss of interest in food or sex. And then there's what is called cocaine psychosis, which is losing touch with reality, loss of interest in friends, family, sports, hobbies, and other activities. And then with hallucinogenics, the physical effects are increased heart rate and blood pressure, sleepiness and tremors, lack of achy muscles, sparse, mangled, and incoherent speech, decreased awareness of touch and pain that can result in self-inflicted injuries,
Can I sit in this myself?
convulsions, coma, heart and lung failure.
Hey, Riley's as small as me. This is like a croucher chair or something.
And the psychological effects are a sense of distance and estrangement, depression, anxiety, and paranoia.
Is that the front or the back of the brain?
Violent behavior, confusion, suspicion, and loss of control. Behavior similar to schizophrenic psychosis, catatonic syndrome, whereby the user becomes mute, lethargic, disoriented, and makes meaningless, repetitive movements. And then
Go on there. It's alright.
And there's marijuana, which the effects are less serious, but there are still some effects, such as sleepiness, difficult of keeping track of time, impaired or reduced short-term memory,
It's alright.
educated ability to perform tasks requiring a reduced ability to perform tasks requiring concentration and coordination, such as driving a car, decreased heart rate, potential cardiac dangers for those with pre-existing heart disease, bloodshot eyes, dry mouth and throat, decreased social inhibitions, paranoia, and hallucinations. And then the longer-term effects are enhanced cancer risk, decrease in testosterone for men, lower sperm count, and difficult having children, obviously for men. Decrease in testosterone for women also, and also increased risk of infertility or extinguished sexual pleasure. Psychological dependency requiring more of the drug to get
Because you're getting nervous. I just want to help.
the same effect. Okay, so now we're going to talk about their...
How many times a day can I take this? Twice?
Joey, the withdrawal effects, which a lot of them are similar, but there are some differences, so we're just going to go over them. For alcohol, the withdrawal effects are dizziness, seizures, headaches, anxiety, tremors, shakes, mood changes, IG problems, so diarrhea or nausea, upset stomach, increased blood pressure or heart rate, hallucinations, hypothermia, and then with methamphetamine, it's fatigue, because they're coming down from that high, so and being awake all the time, so now they're finally able to sleep. And then increased appetite, and they could also have insomnia, muscle pain and aches, anxiety, headache, psychosis, and then the longer term of withdrawal effects could be depression, sleep issues, cognitive issues, anxiety, and cravings. And I think cravings kind of goes for all substances. And then the next one we're going to talk about is cocaine, which is restless behavior, depressed mood, cognitive fatigue, increased appetite, and vivid dreams.
Where's my face mask? Oh, here it is.
And then we're going to talk about opioids, which could be things such as heroin, fentanyl, Oxycontin, things like that. And those symptoms are watery eyes, runny nose, restlessness, also IG problems, yawning, muscle aches, fever, diluted
She's so cute.
pupils, sweating, shaking, rapid breathing, seizures, hallucinations.
That's your backpack, right? Okay.
And then with hallucinogenics, you can have stiff muscles, headaches, depressed breathing, rapid heart rate, convulsions, flashbacks.
Did you know this has an input on it?
Extreme changes in body temperatures and sweating. Okay, so now we're going to start talking about the social effects of drugs, which can be... Oh, that's mine. Joey.
Yes.
Which can be negative effects on friendships and families. I think we all know that addiction affects the whole family, and not just family relationships, but friendships also. I think that addiction can lead to people lying.
Go ahead. It's alright. You can continue. I don't know how slow this is going, though. I need the sound.
And that can break trust, which can have a negative effect on relationship.
Do I already have this? Oh, yeah, I do. Come on.
And then there can also be negative effects for the person using, such as loss of jobs, DUI, neglecting their responsibilities. If there's a parent, if they are a parent neglecting their parental responsibilities, things like that. If there are any questions, I will take them now.